Y'all ain't gonna want to hear what I got to say today, but y'all gonna hear it anyway. See, 9 out of 10 Christians or believers, they're following Satan's system and they don't even realize it. And you probably found it too. Matter of fact, I know you found it. We all found it. We're supposed to be in the world, but not of it. And that right there is the problem. See, we're born into the world system. From the time you're born, the Hasatan or the adversary, Satan, the devil, Lucifer, whatever you want to call him, from the minute you're born, he is active and going to work towards you. I call him the hardest working man in show business because he is the hardest working man in show business. And the reason he works so hard is because people don't understand your soul is worth it. There's no dollar sign that can be put on your soul. And the adversary knows this. He knows there's no dollar sign. So from the moment you're born, he is doing everything in his power to put you under his system. Let me tell you, the very first thing that you do when you're born nowadays, the very first thing they do is they make your parents sign a birth certificate. That birth certificate, along with that social security number, puts you under the world system. It wasn't designed that God didn't create the world to be that way. But we as humans, followers, we was born into it and we don't even know that we were born into it. Like we don't even have that knowledge enough because the whole world is doing it a certain way. We think that that's just the way it's supposed to be because we have been uh, brainwashed to not think, not to question authority. From the time they started the system at preschool. It used to just be starting school at 5. Then they created the preschool system, which is they offer free because the earlier they can get you in there to start programming you to live in the world's way of living, the better it is for them. The quicker, the more Satan knows that he can have, eventually he's going to have complete control over your soul. As they start trying to block God out of your life immediately, like immediately, you come out from being God's gift to the world by signing birth certificates and social security numbers, putting yourself under Satan's control. Because the only way that you can go under his control is by your consent. So you sign these agreements with the devil and you put your children under this world system. Now that's probably sound crazy to some of y'all, like, oh my God, that's absolutely crazy. Listen to Dora, she crazy. She done lost her mind. She insane. No, pray on it. See what God reveals for you. Once you start getting into the world system, because the only way that the adversary can come into your life is if you allow him into it. You are born a child of God, and the adversary does everything in his power to get you in agreement with him. So when people say they signed their soul to the devil, those people knowingly did that. But you may have done it too without really realizing it because he is a deceiver. And the Bible tells us that he has and will deceive the whole world, even those that are elect. And some people say, oh, he didn't deceive me. Well, if you have if you have a birth certificate and a social security card, you have been deceived by the world, unless you understand that. Since now a lot of people are getting out from under it because they're understanding that by signing these contracts, they've signed a deal with the devil, so they're getting out of it. And then what else the world system tells us that like they put us in school. School wasn't. Let me just tell you why school was created. See, the thing is, you were created to have a purpose. God put in your DNA a specific purpose. He made you good at something that most people are not good at, and that specific thing that's in your DNA is supposed to be your reason for being here. It's your purpose. You're supposed to use that purpose to serve other people. And when you use that purpose to serve other people, you solve other people's problems. And when you solve other people's problems, you're supposed to charge a reasonable fee for that service. That's how it was always up until what happened in the 1700s to about 1840. the Industrial Revolution came about. That's when they started, we started manufacturing things, and we needed factories. And those who had conglomerated together these families, they decided that the best way to first it was trying to get the regular people to come and work in these factories. And people at that time was living God's purpose for their life. They were doing what they were designed to do. And it was like, why would I go and stop building my empire to go build yours? Like, why would I not build my legacy? We are commanded by the Bible to create legacies for our children and our children's children. That means we're supposed to be able to create legacies 2 generations. But the world has stopped us from doing that because the world created this industrial revolution, and it wanted us to give up our life and become more controlled by them. Because if you depend on them for your finances, you become enslaved to them. They can determine whether or not you can eat and how much you can have. Where before you would depend on yourself, where the sky was the limit, you could do whatever you want. But we switched that. And how they did it was through the public school system. The only reason the public school system was created in 1840 was because they knew they couldn't get the people who were already building their own legacy, who was already knowing that they were living a purposeful life. They were, living, they did everything the same exact way, even with the medicine, but that's another story. But what they started doing, they created a public school system, and they made it so that, because they said, hey, we can't get these people to change their mind, but we can work on the next generation. They still do the exact. Satan don't change. He does everything the same way, and he gets people to do things the same way. So what they start saying is, we got to get the younger generation. We get this whole younger generation to change their mindset. We can get them to work in our factories and do our bidding, and we can control them. We can determine how much money they can make and how much money they can't make. We can do this. And that's what they did. They created the public school system where they taught you how to never question authority. That was the main thing they were focused on. Don't question authority. Second thing they was controlling, wanted to do was to teach you not to have a desire to read or educate yourself after you're in school. Later on, it evolved to other things like debt, like to making sure you get in debt and everything like that. But the main thing was to get you to work in these factories. So they was conditioning you. You had to get up every morning at a certain time. You had to be away from the house for a certain length of time. Then they trained you by bells, like, if the bell rang, to do this, the bell rang, like that's how they train dogs. Well, that's what they were training you in the public school system, when the bell rung, and that's the exact same way they did their factories. Got up in the morning, certain hour every day. You went away from the home for a certain amount of hours a day. The bell would ring in these factories that determine where you're supposed to go, what time you're supposed to do, when you can eat, when you can't eat. That's what we were being programmed to do. But that's the world system. It's not God's system. God's system is for you to have a purpose. He put his purpose in you. You are good at something that other people are not good at doing. Your purpose is to take that thing that you're good at doing and use it as a service for other people. That's the only way we're going to be able to build the kingdom finances. Is we have to start not living under the world system. We have to start understanding what the world system is and understanding what God's system is. The Messiah came to overturn the world system. But we got more involved in it now. Like, the devil is here to steal your soul. He don't care what he has to do. That you live like, he's gonna do everything to block God out of everything. And we let it. We let it because we've been programmed to not question authority. And he has established authority here on earth. His people work hard every day. His people do everything in their power to make sure that they reach as many people as possible. But us believers, we don't do that. Let me give you an example. Just think of any singer that's popular today. Their goal in this world is to corrupt the minds of the youth. It's always been in the music industry. That's always been the goal of the music industry. You can sit there and say, oh, no, that's not it. Wrong. The world knows about programming. And if you have these people that they put into a certain position that have the younger kids look up to, and they telling them things over and over and over again, and nothing positive, nothing that there's no positive uh, person that's actually in the music industry. Just listen to the lyrics. It's all about sex. It's all about killing. It's all about all kinds of whatever debauchery that you could think of. That's what the music industry is about because that's the way they want it. And these people work for the adversary, and they're good at their job, and they get paid well for doing it. You supposed to work for God's kingdom, and you should get paid just as well as they are. But we silent, we quiet, we're just going along with the world system. We're not changing it. We're not doing anything. And when people try to change it or talk to you about changing it, y'all look at them like they crazy. Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy what they're talking about. That's insane. No, it's not insane. It's God's way of doing things, and God's way of doing things is the total opposite from the world's way of doing things. So if you're a Christian and you're following this world system, you're following Satan's system. Are you one of those people? And if you are one of those people, what are you going to do today to stop being one of those people? What are you going to do right now where you can start, one, figuring out what it is that you're sent here to do and figuring out how you're supposed to do it? Just follow me. I'm going to help you find that because that's what you're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be building God's kingdom. We're supposed to be doing things God's way. Same way the devil's doing things his way. He got all his minions working for him, and they strong in they stance. We need to be strong in our stance too. It is not sitting here it's not by putting, comparing people. It's by working on yourself. That's all. You work on yourself. You start doing things with yourself. Find your purpose, because once you start finding your purpose, everything, and you start living in your purpose, everything else will fall in place. You don't have to. You won't have to be in the struggle. Because once you're doing your purpose, God is going to help you because He sent you here to do that. He's going to make sure that the right people come at the right time and you learn the right lessons at the right time to help you on the right path. As long as you get caught up in the world system, it's never going to be successful for you because it's not designed for your success. The only way it's designed for your success is if you go on the other team. You become team #Satan. If you don't plan on doing that, then you need to stay on God's team and learn your purpose and start living your purpose, because that's the first key in creating your finances and creating kingdom finances. My name is Dawn Fields. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.